Mickey churro waffles and giant liter beers and strawberry soup and croissant pizzas. There's only one place you can get these eats in Disney World, and they're hiding out on Disney's buffets. Who doesn't love a buffet, right? Now, before you make any reservations for a Disney World buffet, watch this video first to find out each restaurant's best and most unique offerings and learn some buffet tips and tricks along the way that'll help you make the most out of your upcoming visit and hopefully make it a little more sanitary. I don't know. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. I know you've probably heard the rumors by now that every Disney World buffet is pretty much the same, just with a different dining room overlay. But that's not the truth, not even a little bit. While there are major similarities across some of the buffets, to guarantee that everyone in your party is going to find something they want to munch on, each Disney World buffet also has unique offerings that'll kind of make you say, "Well, I didn't realize this." We're not here just to tell you that. We want to show you by taking you inside each of these buffets and highlighting the best foods you can pile onto your plates over and over again. For the record, we are sticking with buffets today, not diving into the family-style services where the endless eats are brought directly to your table. However, if you want to know more about every all-you-care-to-enjoy restaurant on Disney World property, all you got to do is turn to page 98 in the 101 section of the DFB Guide to Walt Disney World Dining, and we'll give you all the details, including price ranges, best recommendations, locations, and more. If you don't have the guide, no worries. You can pick yours up over at dfbstore.com and use code YouTube to save some money before you check out. But just because we appreciate y'all being here with us today, during the video I'm going to drop some of our best buffet tips that come straight from the guide so you can have a little taste test of what the book's like before you get it. All right, let's head over to Magic Kingdom first. It might not be Cinderella Castle, but a palace is a palace, and we sure do love it here at Crystal Palace in Magic Kingdom. Crystal Palace is not only a buffet situated inside a building that looks like a Victorian-style greenhouse, but it's also a character dining experience where you're going to be able to meet Winnie the Pooh and Piglet and Tigger and Eeyore during the course of your meal. Crystal Palace is open during breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and it's got quite an eclectic assortment of eats, but the main focus of Crystal Palace's buffet lines are comfort classics, some of which are presented with unique twists. During breakfast, Crystal Palace has the typical morning spread, such as scrambled eggs, pancakes, pastries, along with a few more unique options that you might not be expecting here, like Kenlan tofu curry and Mediterranean frittatas. But what we always gravitate toward are those Mickey churro waffles. These are basically traditional Mickey waffles, but coated with a hearty amount of cinnamon sugar on the outside. They always seem to come out soft in the middle and a little crispy on the edges, and if you pick them up first, make your rounds gathering everything else, and then finally get back to your table to start chowing down, these little dudes taste great even after they've cooled down a bit, but they taste even better with a generous amount of syrup drizzled on top. Lunch and dinner are where the real comfort classics start to shine. For those who enjoy a hearty serving of good old fried chicken, you've got the country fried chicken on offer at Crystal Palace, topped off with black pepper gravy. And sometimes the buffet also adds hot honey to these breaded pieces of meat for an extra sweet and spicy layer, just so you're aware that there might be some extra flavor profile tossed in there that you weren't expecting. I like these because they're basically souped up chicken tenders, and if there's anything y'all need to know about me, it's that I unashamedly love Disney's chicken tenders. Now, if you're looking for something more on the fishy side of things, Crystal Palace also usually has a miso glazed salmon on offer. I say usually because remember, buffets do switch up all the time depending on what they can actually get in stock. So what's on offer one day could be switched out for something else another day. Just keep that in mind. The salmon is moist and melt in your mouth tender, but the miso glaze that gives it a little sweetness at the end there, that's what really makes this entree shine. Then there's the shrimp creole, which you can layer on top of a bed of smoked cheddar grits or just on a bed of basmati rice. Either one, super great. Also, just want to give a quick little golf clap to the salad bar here. While all the Disney buffets have some sort of salad bar for you to get your daily dose of fruits and veggies, Crystal Palace's salad bar has so many fresh options on offer. Even their pre-made salads are noteworthy. And we made it to our first buffet tip. So buffet tip number 1, I gotta mention this one now because it's gonna be vital info for this next restaurant we're getting ready to talk about. I repeat, do not hesitate to check out the buffet section for kids. Just because it says it's for kids doesn't mean you can't load up on some chicken nuggets or tater tots or mac and cheese. And don't underestimate the kids buffet line either. You never know what you're gonna find over there. All right, we are heading to Animal Kingdom next for Tusker House. Now, Crystal Palace might be a place where comfort classics run the show, but when you visit Tusker House, you're going to be getting multiple plates full of both American and African-inspired sides and entrees and desserts. Plus, you've got characters to meet here too. Mickey, Donald, Goofy, and Daisy are wearing some of my favorite outfits that they've got in their closets, their safari gear. Breakfast here is definitely going to be more adventurous than many of Disney's breakfast offerings, but you're still going to find classics like roasted potatoes and cooked-to-order omelets and the fan favorite Mickey waffles. Not churro ones this time, though. Tusker House is also one of 2 locations on property that serve Simba waffles, the other location we're going to talk about later on. And not only that, but you can top your Simba waffles with this sweet and creamy banana caramel syrup that adds a whole other layer to the classic Disney waffle game. If it's out and available during your visit, I'd also highly recommend picking up a slice or 2 or 3 of the zebra coffee cake, which has been a longtime favorite of mine at this location. Basically, it's a layered cake featuring both traditional and chocolate coffee cakes, topped with a crumbly topping that is the best part of the whole thing, in my opinion. For a more savory yet still unique breakfast option at Tusker House, you might want to try a slice of whatever babooti is available. Babooti is a traditional African dish, typically made with a base of minced meat, egg, raisins, and vegetables, so it's like a fancy quiche, just with a bit more going on. For lunch and dinner, the offerings get even more interesting here at Tusker House without sacrificing quality and flavor. The green curry shrimp is a DFB reporter favorite. The shrimp is tender and chewy and pairs well with the jasmine rice that's also on offer. As far as the green curry is concerned, the sauce is pretty mild, but still manages to provide a good balance of flavors and spice. The za'atar braised beef also deserves a moment in the spotlight. Quite often, this is the best thing we end up eating during the entire meal. The beef always seems to be tender and juicy with a generous sprinkling of African spices. It also is served on top of a crostini to give it a little extra crunchiness and saltiness. Nice addition. And hey, I know the mac and cheese is secluded over at the kids portion of the buffet, but I don't care how old you are, do not overlook this stuff. The Tusker House mac and cheese from the kids buffet is made with an ultra creamy white cheddar cheese and tastes 10 times better than anything you could ever make out of a box. Plus, I like the pasta they use. Always mixing it up, Tusker House. Now, fun fact here, both Tusker House and Crystal Palace are featured in our free Top Restaurants at Disney World guide, which you can pick up right now by scanning the QR code you see on the screen or by clicking the link to disneyfoodblog.com/top restaurants down in the description. This guide showcases our top 10 restaurants across the parks and Disney Springs shopping district, and we even rank the restaurants too, with the number 1 spot being our ultimate restaurant recommendation in each location. Heads up, the resort restaurants aren't listed in this free guide version, so no hotel restaurants in here, but if you've got the DFB guide from dfbstore.com, you'll see that we've given you a whole section dedicated to just hotel dining alone, along with our best restaurant recommendations across the hotels too. And it's time for German comfort food. Yep, Beergarten is located inside Epcot's Germany Pavilion, and while it might not be a character dining experience like the other 2 buffets we've already talked about, it's still an entertaining experience where you're going to be treated to live music in a setting that transports you to a small German village where every day is Oktoberfest. There's even a little dance floor here, which the kiddos happen to absolutely love, even though it's technically for everyone. Beergarten might not have breakfast available, just lunch and dinner, but you know what they do have? Really, really big beers. Now let me back up. These beers are not unlimited and on the buffet, but each Disney buffet has a separate menu of add-on specialty beverages that you can choose from that's going to cost you extra on top of the buffet price. And at Beergarten, some of those specialty extra beverages include half-liter and liter-sized beers that you can have filled with German lagers or Hefeweizens, or if you don't necessarily want to commit to a giant glass of beer, you can always choose to get a flight or 4 5-ounce pours instead. But once you make your drink decision, the unlimited buffet is also quite authentic. Lots of German classics like liverwurst and brats and sauerbraten, which is like pot roast's German cousin. But I think some of our favorite German staple items on this buffet are the schnitzel and the spätzle, basically fried meat and pasta. The spätzle can best be described as a tiny buttery pasta bite with a slight herb flavor. If you've got kids, this is a good way to ease them into trying something a little more adventurous, and I'm putting air quotes around adventurous, but you know what I mean. The pork schnitzel is a lean breaded strip of meat that comes out fresh and crispy, and the flavor gets even better with the help of our good friend, a generous serving of gravy. You might recognize the noodle gratin from Epcot's Food and Wine Festival, since it's made an appearance at the German booth for quite a few years now. But if you want noodle gratin all year long, this cheesy baked noodle dish is usually available at this buffet, though lately your mileage may vary. Thankfully, the kids' mac and cheese is never far away if the noodle gratin is missing. And finally, the cheese and beer soup here is phenomenal, especially when you pair it with the pretzel bread rolls nearby. Buffet tip number 2, before you grab a plate and dive into the buffet line, make your vulturing rounds and check out all the food offerings first, just to see what's available. This is going to give you a much better experience than if you just load up your plate of random food at the first station you come to. Even if you go back later for round 2 or 3, you might be too full to enjoy something that looked appetizing earlier, so get your priority options on your plate during your first go around. Now, I promised I'd be totally real with you today, and I'm not going back on my word. Hollywood and Vine over at Hollywood Studios isn't really a buffet that you book because of the food. Likely, you're going to book a meal here because of the unique character meet and greets. During breakfast, you can take the younger folks in your group to the Disney Junior Play and Dine breakfast. Though characters may vary, you usually have Fancy Nancy, Vampirina, Doc McStuffins, and Roadster Goofy during this meal. So just to make things very transparent, if you're not a parent or guardian of a young kid, this more than likely is not going to be the dining scene for you. During lunch and dinner, the characters are more recognizable for all ages thanks to Minnie's seasonal dine. Minnie, Mickey, Goofy, and Pluto, dressed according to the season, will come around to your table to take pictures and give hugs and sign autographs. The breakfast noshes aren't going to shock you here. Pastries, sausages, eggs, cheesy potatoes, because Disney loves their breakfast cheesy potatoes, thank goodness. But if you're looking for something a little more standout, might I point you in the direction of the Bananas Foster French toast? This French toast is served deconstructed, thank goodness, because we don't want soggy bread. So you can load up your toast with just as much or as little of the Bananas Foster sauce as you want. This sauce kind of reminds me of the ooey gooey center of a cinnamon roll, if that makes sense. It's super sweet if you're a dessert for breakfast kind of person, but unlike a cinnamon roll, you can scoop up full chunks of banana to plop onto your French toast too. Now, here's another little breakfast item that makes Hollywood and Vine stand out a little bit more. They've got spicy chicken and donut skewers here. The donut holes on this skewer are sweet and soft, but nothing super special. But the breaded chicken bites that go along with them are fresh and juicy and, shockingly enough, just a little bit spicy, which is kind of a rarity in the Disney realm, so watch out if you're spice-averse. For us, however, it was that extra kick of spice that convinced us to go back to the buffet and grab seconds. Lunch and dinner at Hollywood and Vine is very, I don't know, kind of feels like a buffet version of being the jack of all trades, master of none. You'll have a variety to choose from, but rarely do we ever leave here going, wow, I can't wait to go back and eat XYZ again. That being said, there are a few items we can spotlight for you. The plant-based roasted mushroom farro risotto is pretty popular with our DFP reporters, and my scriptwriter Bria really likes this one too. She's kind of a risotto fiend though. She's like me and loves a wet rice dish. Now, the risotto has a rather strong mushroom flavor to it, so if that's not your jam, go ahead and skip this one. Hot take though, the sides on this buffet tend to steal the show from the main entrees. Sour cream and whipped chive potatoes are well seasoned and have huge potato chunks throughout, but if you prefer your potatoes thoroughly whipped, you might not enjoy these ones as much as we do. And the Mexican street corn is a good combo of sweetness and creaminess and spiciness and herbiness too. But you know what I really like best at Hollywood and Vine? The dessert. Now, I'm not talking about what you can get out of those classic buffet ice cream machines. I'm talking specifically about the candy magic bars whenever they're available. These are full of chocolate and M&Ms and Oreos and pretzels and coconut shavings, and they're basically loaded with texture and flavor, and just all around they're easy to love. A fun option if you do end up at Hollywood and Vine. So we have these shirts on our DFB website that are inspired by a certain chef rat we all know and love, and the shirt says, "I'm just here for the food." And while I love Disney rides and shows, anytime I step into a restaurant at Animal Kingdom Lodge, I have to stop and wonder, maybe I am just here for the food. Because I would make a trip out to Disney World just to dine at the restaurants at Animal Kingdom Lodge. This is by far the best food hotel in all of Disney World. And Boma is right up on that list. I feel opposite about Boma than I do about Hollywood and Vine. This might be my favorite buffet on Disney World property. While you're not going to find any characters or shows, though you will spy the occasional African drumline, breakfast and dinner are typically more affordable because of that missing entertainment aspect. And yet the food does not suffer from that, not in the slightest. Boma and Tusker House are kind of like two peas in a pod, since they both offer American and African items on their buffet lines. And some of the breakfast recommendations I have for Boma overlap with what I recommended for Tusker. like the Simba waffles. Yep, this is the second buffet featuring these unique character waffles. And the babooty, though more often you're going to find turkey babooty offered at Boma instead of the beef option at Tusker House. But these buffets by no means are identical. Now, Bria, my scriptwriter, ate at Boma's breakfast buffet just a couple of weeks ago, so I'm going to let her talk a little bit about her personal experience.
Howdy, I love Boma. Just thought I'd get that out of the way now, but you're going to pick up on that fact pretty quickly after I start talking about it. First off, you've got the carved ham with the spiced Boma mustard, which is so fresh, salty, and zingy. It's incredible. And then there's the mealy pap, which is like these buttered grits, but a little soupier, I'd say. They're so salty and creamy, and they're not for everyone from a textural standpoint, but I loved mixing them with my scrambled eggs. Speaking of which, those feta, tomato, and spinach scrambled eggs, y'all, I went back for seconds for those dudes. They're creamy, not overpoweringly cheesy, and the brightness of the tomato and spinach made me realize I've been making scrambled eggs wrong all these years. And let's not forget, never forget, the butterscotch bread pudding. The Disney buffets are no stranger to bread puddings, but I truly think Boma's got some of the best. You choose what kind of syrup and cream you want poured over the top, if any, and then you head back to your table immediately after to eat it while it's still warm. And of course, you gotta wash it all down with that bottomless pog, because Boma is one of the few Disney buffet locations that offers endless pog to drink in the morning. And pog, in case you're not aware, is a non-alcoholic beverage made with passion fruit, orange, and guava juices.
Thanks, Bria. Okay, something else I want to expand on from what Bria just mentioned. The butterscotch bread pudding isn't just available at breakfast, it's available for dinner too. This is the original home also of the famous zebra domes, made from a thin cake base topped with amarula cream liqueur mousse, coated in delicious white chocolate, and finished with chocolate stripes and shavings. Lots of people come here just for the zebra domes. And while zebra domes aren't typically out on the buffet during breakfast, you can still try one when you purchase the striped and spiked cold brew for an extra cost. This is made with Joffrey's French roast cold brew, South African amarula cream liqueur, and Godiva chocolate liqueur. And guess what it's topped with? Not icing, sprinkles, gravy, and cherries this time, but a zebra dome. Okay, so back to dinner. Boma is also famous for its soup lineup, so if you're a soup fiend like me, then welcome to Disney restaurant heaven. Butternut squash, seafood gumbo, coconut curry chicken, tomato Florentine, carrot ginger, corn soup, mulligatawny, which is a chicken curry apple. Anyway, I could keep going, but the lesson here is that Boma is basically the king of soups because all of them are warm and comforting and satisfying no matter what's on offer during your visit. Typically, Boma's going to list what soups could be on rotation via their online menu, so keep in mind that if you see a huge soup list, that doesn't necessarily mean all of those Boma soups will be available when you're there. They do cycle through them. Now, once again, we got another strong pre-made salad lineup over at Boma. Even the pasta salad that's tossed with curried mayo is one that my team raves about frequently. But if you're wanting a salad that's a whole lot more colorful, the ancient grain salad is a combo of sunflower seeds and quinoa, some dried fruit, usually cranberries, strawberries, cheese, spinach, and a very light herby dressing on top. In the carnivore department, the African spiced beef strip loin is super tender, and while it tends to be a bit fattier than some may prefer, that is where a lot of that buttery flavor comes from. There are also dipping sauces nearby that'll amp up the flavors, like the house-made horseradish and the Boma mustard. If you're at Boma when they have their peanut rice with coconut, soy sauce, and ginger out on the buffet, you're going to be in for a treat, especially if you're someone who loves pad thai, because that's what the peanutty flavors of this rice reminds us of. Now, if you're more of a hummus fan, Boma also has a bread station with different pitas and hummus dips and more classic breads and rolls as well. Your big Boma takeaway, though, should be this. Just because Boma doesn't have characters or major live entertainment doesn't mean you need to write this buffet off. It's going to entertain your taste buds, that's for sure. Okay, buffet tip number 3. This tip could really make or break the quality of your buffet experience. If you can snag the first reservation of the day, do it. This goes for breakfast as well as lunch or dinner. The first reservation time slots are going to be when all the food is its most fresh because it's all coming out of the kitchen and being placed on the buffet. That being said, even if you don't get that first reservation secured, just keep a close eye on the buffet line in general. If there's a certain item that the buffet is sort of running out of or it's kind of been picked over, just wait a few minutes and it should be replenished with a fresh batch. We see this a lot at breakfast, especially when it comes to bacon, understandably so. So if you see bacon running low at your breakfast buffet, wait, because hot, fresh bacon is going to be on its way. Okay, things are about to get a whole lot more beachy. Cape May Cafe over at Beach Club Resort over by Epcot serves both a breakfast and dinner buffet, though the vibes between these two meals are very different. In the morning, you've got character dining going on thanks to Minnie's Beach Bash Breakfast, where you're going to be able to meet Minnie, of course, as well as Donald, Daisy, and Goofy as they fashion off their summer swimsuit attire. And in the evening, no characters are going to visit you, but a very seafood-driven buffet line is at your disposal with plenty of shrimp and baked fish and other seafaring dishes to choose from. Normally, a Disney breakfast buffet is going to be significantly cheaper than their lunch or dinner offerings, but Cape May Cafe is one of those rare instances where breakfast and dinner cost the same. That's going to be that characters versus no characters tax on breakfast, basically. Cape May Cafe is a sleeper hit in the breakfast department, though, especially if you're looking for some more unique breakfast buffet offerings. Right off the bat, your server is going to bring a basket of salted caramel beach buns to your table, and I could eat the whole basket of these by myself. These are sweet without being overwhelming, super moist thanks to the vanilla sauce they're served with, and the combo of sticky caramel and vanilla sauce and the sea salt sprinkled on top make this some of the best bread you can get in Disney World. And I do not say that lightly because Disney World has really good bread. Up at the buffet, we've got a rare waffle alert. Yep, there are mini waffles at Cape May Cafe. And you know what? Good for her. This is her beach bash after all. She deserves to have her head turned into a waffle too. And in addition to a classic omelet station, you can also find a crepe and breakfast taco station here too. You can choose what toppings you want on your crepe, and a cast member is going to make it right there, fresh in front of you. As for the tacos, this is an assemble yourself situation, which gives you the freedom to really go all out and customize your own breakfast tacos with whatever your heart desires. Okay, we're switching modes and ringing the Cape May dinner bell now. I am still mourning the fact that Cape May no longer has those endless crab legs that used to be on offer during dinner, because that made this buffet more than worth the price you paid for it. But since COVID, those have been gone. You can still order a pound of crab legs for the table, but now it's going to cost you an extra $29 on top of your regular buffet price. So let's stick with the included stuff. Expect a traditional steam boil up on the buffet with items ranging from clams to mussels to shrimp to corn and red potatoes. The seafood here is good. I'd say it's better than what you'll get from Coral Reef and Epcot, but not as good as what you're going to get from the Boathouse in Disney Springs. But I think what's most impressive about the seafood available here is that nothing has that overly rubbery texture to it from sitting under a heat lamp. So already it's going to be above your run-of-the-mill seafood buffet you might find elsewhere. But if we had to choose, I think the Cape May breakfast buffet runs circles around dinner right now. All right, buffet tip number 4. I cannot believe I'm saying this right now, but don't solely fill up on the carbs at a buffet. Am I somewhat of a hypocrite for suggesting this? Yes. There have been plenty of times where my plate was various shades of beige and macaroni and cheese, mashed potatoes, and bread were my main sources of sustenance during a buffet visit. And if that's what you like too, then don't let me stop you. Live your life. That being said, if you're looking to get the most bang for your buck at these places, you need to prioritize the higher dollar stuff like the carved meats and the seafood and other hearty meat dishes that are going to cost you a pretty penny anywhere else. All right, we have made it to Chef Mickey's, and we have another hot take coming your way. Chef Mickey's at Contemporary Resort is worth paying a visit to if you want to meet all of the Fab 5 characters in their cute chef's outfits while having a fun little party with everyone. This is, after all, the only Disney restaurant on property where you can meet all 5 of these characters at once. That being said, the breakfast and dinner buffets leave a little something to be desired. Again, not saying the food is bad here. What I'm saying is that it tends to be a whole lot safer. So the food you see on the buffet is going to be more traditional Disney buffet options. We're talking carved hams, baked mac and cheese, chicken strips. But there is one thing that's really caught our attention on the Chef Mickey's breakfast buffet recently, and that's their croissant beignets. Chef Mickey has seriously been hiding these dudes. They are amazing. These are basically beignets made with croissant dough. So you get those thick, buttery layers, but with that fried beignet flavor. They're also topped off with cinnamon sugar, but I'm happy to report that there are indeed sauces that you can grab off the buffet for your beignets too. These vary depending on when you visit, but the last time we were there, strawberry and blueberry were the flavors of the day. I will say that although cheesy potatoes are a pretty common sight across the Disney breakfast buffets, the cheesy potato casserole served during breakfast at Chef Mickey's is pretty iconic. If you've ever had a good hash brown casserole before, that's what this is. It's just a really great version of that. Creamy with a strong cheesy flavor, and you've got that crispy layer of baked crust on top to give it a little more texture. Like I said just a few seconds ago, I am the world's biggest hypocrite because yes, I have been known to come to Chef Mickey's and fill up solely on cheesy potatoes. But for dinner, Chef Mickey's again doesn't have a whole lot of standout items to choose from. The carving station's gonna hook you up with a hearty cut of New York strip loin or herb crusted turkey. The warm apple crisp has lots of cinnamon spice, so it's like you're taking a bite out of fall, even if the apples are a little gummy like store-bought apple pie filling. And if you see me scooping up heaping piles of mac and cheese and corn dog nuggets from the kids' buffet, no, you didn't. Buffet tip number 5, if you have a kid that's under 3 years old, they can eat at any Disney World buffet for free. So be sure to let the cast member know if anyone in your party is under 3 and take advantage of that free meal. And now for the newest sort of Disney buffet, 1900 Park Fare over at Grand Floridian Resort. When Disney reopened after the 2020 closures, 1900 Park Fare didn't reopen with it, and it stayed closed for a long time to the point that we were kind of nervous about its fate. But then in April 2024, 1900 Park Fare finally reopened with a new character dining experience and a dining room overhaul. Now, breakfast and dinner present the Wishmaker's Enchanted Dining, where you're going to be able to meet an eclectic assortment of both new and classic characters who are all coming together to celebrate the power of a wish. This includes the Prince Ali version of Aladdin, Tiana in her new Tiana's Bayou Adventure ensemble, Mirabelle from Encanto, and Cinderella, who was also part of the 1900 Park Fare crew before the pandemic. Now, I think if I could describe the overall vibe of the food served at 1900 Park Fare, you've got another jack-of-all-trades situation here, but the food is a lot more elevated than what you'll find at like Hollywood and Vine or Chef Mickey's. For breakfast, you've got your usual morning lineup, but you've also got things like the croissant breakfast pizza, which really stole the show for us. The breakfast pizza is made on a buttery, flaky croissant crust with sausage, gravy, cheese, scrambled eggs, and bacon. Might be a good option to have the pickier eaters in your group try, since the breakfast pizza is technically unique, but it's not so unique that those who are more afraid to step outside the box are going to feel that the flavors are too unfamiliar for them. On the sweeter side of the equation, the cinnamon pull-apart bread is something I probably could eat until I make myself sick. It's served with creme anglaise, but even if it didn't have the anglaise, which I'm glad it does, this bread would still be incredible. But the classic item of 1900 Park Fare, served during breakfast and dinner that was able to survive even a multi-year-long shutdown, is none other than the restaurant's famous strawberry soup. The strawberry soup tastes similar to a thinner strawberry smoothie or yogurt, and it's served cold, so don't think too hard about it, just enjoy it. The buffet also provides whipped cream and strawberries nearby, so you can add that to the top of your chilled fruity soup as well. I guess the strawberry soup is a good bridge that's going to cross us over into dinner territory, and carnivores rejoice, there's a lot of high quality meat options to find at this dinner buffet. In the mix can be porchetta and spice roasted turkey or ham, in addition to the consistent prime rib, which is available every night. And thank goodness for that, because the prime rib is excellent. The tender, juicy prime rib meat is served with savory, salty au jus, which is great on both the meat and paired with the creamy, dreamy, buttery mashed potatoes. And if Tiana's hanging out at a Disney restaurant, you know she's going to bring her tried and true gumbo to the party. You can serve this gumbo over a bed of jasmine rice, and it's comfort food at its finest. It's cozy and has a nice amount of spicy heat to it, where you're not going to be guzzling down your water and your neighbor's water or anything, but the zesty kick is definitely there. Okay, I am stuffed. Thank you, Endless Buffet Eats. But if you're still hungry for more Disney dining tips and tricks and recommendations and more, then be sure to check out our other DFB videos that cover even more restaurants around property. We've even got a restaurant bracket series going on where Disney restaurants battle it out to see who's the best of the best in each park. And don't forget to pick up your free Top Restaurants guide right now over at disneyfoodblog.com/top restaurants. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.